Hey guys, quick update here from Krill. I just really want to go key positions over warding. It's going to be a hashtag shorts video on YouTube, but I feel like it's really something that people need is to get a better understanding regarding your rank, whether you're bronze, silver, gold, plat, diamond. It doesn't matter what rank you are. This is just a short video on YouTube where I'll be going over the most key potential places where to ward. And it doesn't matter if you're AD carry, support, mid, jungle, or top. These are just really key potential, at least we call them KPIs in higher elo, key potential indicators where to ward. So you basically help stop somebody from ganking. It gives basic information of where jungle can be or when jungle can spawn. So without further ado, let's just hop into the map. So if we look at the map here, right, I already set up a bit of a scheme. You can see a few players. We got on the blue side, we got Darius on top, we got LeBlanc in the middle, we got Trundle jungle, and we got Sona and Varus on bottom. Regarding for the red side, we have Fizz on mid, we got Thresh and Tristan on bottom, Fiddlesticks in the jungle, and we got Gangplank on top. So this video is going to be a short video. It's just going to be me showing you regarding your rank, regarding your role or function in the game, where to ward, the key places where to ward. So let's say as me being a support main in high elo, I'll explain where it would be best to ward. So obviously when you start the game, most people, you know, having bottom on the red side will go to the jungle camp on the blue. Then we have Fiddlesticks as well there. And what I do see, especially in lower elo, is when I grab the ward, people always already start to ward either here, or I place it there, which does help you prevent from ganking. But I would say instead of warding, let's say we have your Fizz covering this side. He can give information whether you will get a gank or not or an invade. Instead of staying here, they have a free side to basically gank without being noticed. So let's say the enemy is here and they gank all the way from here, right? They can either go this way. Obviously, we do know that Fiddlesticks can look this way and see a few people incoming. But I think it would be better because they can also walk around all the way and come from that side. What I would do if I would create a team is say Fiddlesticks, we all know there's a bush here. It's not on the map as of right now, but that eventually will be updated. What I would say is, let's say we put Fiddlesticks here, right? Then we can keep Tristana there, that's fine. However, I would say is open up. Don't stay in here because why? Fiddlesticks has a coverage and Fiddle does. Fiddle can see from this side, he can see from that side, and he can see from this side. So there's no possible way they can gank. Looking at Fiddlesticks, he has potential vision from here, which means they cannot come from here nor from there. So he's already covered. Now, obviously, you do not want to have your teammates like Thresh and Tristana to become useless. So I would say open up. Put Thresh, for example, here, or maybe even the bush, that's fine. And put Tristana there. So you have like a complete total coverage from every angle. Not a ward. You basically have a complete average vision control over them not being able to invade anywhere. This is basically a key guide how I would start a game if I had to select my teammates and how to position them up. So let's say we put everything back, right? What you want to do now is look at the team. So let's say we move the characters one by one. We got this everything covered. So jungle will be there. Let's put Thresh and Tristan on bottom. Fizz on mid. Same goes for the others. Like that. So let's start with bottom. What I often see happen is that people play on the lane, but they don't really start looking at where to ward. So whether you're an AD carry or a support doesn't really matter. You basically always want to make sure that either these two places are covered. And especially if you're playing on the red side for these two, you want to make sure that you have this side covered, because we all know the plant is there and they can basically hop over and then gank from that side. So there's a few potential things or key potential indicators that you want to cover. Now, what you see happen a lot in low elo is that people will either ward here and ward there. And most of the times, the bottom ward in the tribush is a pink ward. What you basically want to do, because this doesn't cover everything, what happens here is that the jungler, let's say if Trundle was still here, he could walk all the way from here over there, go to the bloom, and then jump over. And if you are pushed in, then you basically already kind of screwed up because he has a free potential gank. So what you basically want to do is, if I grab the wards again, instead of warding here, which is one of the most known places, start warding somewhere around here. Actually, let me rephrase. Start warding there, and always make sure you have Tribush covered. Once that is covered, you have full control over everything. Why? You have control over Drake. You have control over the side gank here from mid. Obviously, we have control over Tribush, so there's no way they can gank from there. So these are the key potential places, and especially if you are playing on blue side, you always want to make sure that you clear the bloom. So these wards are key potential indicators for red. Let's say if I grab the blue side, what you want to do is ward in Tribush. Always make sure there's a ward in Tribush, that's just a fact. Instead of warding here, make sure if there's a possibility, because you don't want a heavy aggro when they are pushed in, it's not good to ward because they have control over jungle. What you basically want to do is ward in Tribush, ward here at Dragon, because it gives you simultaneously control over a few spots. Jungle, mid, side gank, bloom. So that's what you want to cover. If I grab the wards further on, so that's for bottom lane. It's fairly easy to know. Once you have these places covered, that's all you need to know about the basic warding. If you want to go into more depth, and for biter roles you want to do these and these, you want to make sure that you then ward either here, here, or there. You basically want to get full control over every single role. So obviously we do know that both junglers are in the blue section or in the red section regarding which side you're playing. So let's say we are playing blue side. If you want to go into more in-depth warding, whether you're AD carry or support, doesn't matter. These two are the most known wards. And let's say we place you there. Always, instead of warding here, ward here. It's twice as much is better because you have so much more control. Apart from that, if you really want to go in depth and you want to secure over mid, you want to secure your jungler, what you can do is once you finish your support item in this case, let's say these two wards are still here set up. We can ward here. We can then ward here. And I always, in my case, I always make sure that I have vision over blue. Why? If I have the possibility to place newer wards, so let's say Tribush gets gets destroyed. The same goes for jungle control. Once I place a ward here, I have control over red side in my jungle. If I place a ward here, there's coverage from mid from both sides. Because you kind of want to think, if a support, you kind of want to think over your team as well, not just think about bottom lane. I'll explain you why in a second, why I would ward like this later on in the game, not from the start. And I would cover blue side. This is one of the most effective way to ward, and I'll explain you simply why. If we have blue side warded from the enemy, so let's say we are playing as Varus and Sona, I have coverage from these angles. I have coverage from, not for only for me, but also for mid, I have coverage from these angles. If I cover blue as well, and let's say this can either be a stealth ward or simply green ward, or trinket in this case, you have so much control over Gromp, over side bloom, jungle control, you have river control, you have dragon control, you also have control on the side here. So instead of just warding, on Tribush and on Riverside, which only give you fee potential vision indicators, you can see how effective this is. You have so much more securing over your jungle. Now, for that saying, that's the support role and AD carry. So let's go over mid now. So let's say that's covered. We go over to mid. What I do see a lot is that either Fizz or LeBlanc extends. Doesn't matter if you're LeBlanc or Fizz in this case, doesn't matter which, whether you're blue or red. What I do, however, see is what happens is a lot of people in lower elo, they don't tend to ward. What I mean by that is you always want to make sure that whenever you heavy engage, whether it's in a fight, whether that's in an invade or a gank, you want to make sure you have a few places warded so you know you can either extend in a fight or that you have to disengage. So let's say if you're playing mid and obviously you have a limitation to the wards, you're not a support who has 3 out of 3 wards for his support item and as well either 1 or 2 on a trinket. Let's say you have 1 green ward and a contra ward. What I would do is place the contra ward here and I would place the green ward here unless my support covers that. So let's say, as we remember, the support covers here, here, and here. I'll grab the line real quick. So let's say Sona ward's there, we have control here, we have control there, we have control over mid, control over there, control over there, and control over there. Here we have control over here, 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 and here. This leaves mid very secure from one side, but obviously we have 2 sides, so we want to make sure that we make both of them accordingly even. So my mid doesn't really have to worry about the right side because the support covers that area. Now what you do want to know is that potential ganks can come from either 2 ways. Obviously the jungler can still gank from this side, but it's not important because we have it covered with wards. What you basically want to look further on is, let's say Fiddle comes either from this way or comes from this way. What you basically want to do is put a pink ward or a green ward here, preferably a pink ward, because this potentially removes ganks from top, from your allied jungle side, or from the enemy jungle, which means he has no way of ganking you in any kind of way unless you have an overlook on the map. So we have 1 green ward set up. My support or AD carry has covered this area if your support or AD carry has done that. This leaves us with an easy access onto the left side of the jungle, which only leads on to top, jungle, and mid. So let's say LeBlanc wards here. She has control over there. If you want to go even more in depth, you can also ward even further into the jungle. I would either say maybe with a Fiddlesticks try to place a green ward here, because we all know that Fiddlesticks can ult and he can go over all kinds of various positions. What you then have is control over red, control over birds, and control over the jungle itself. This is a really effective way, by the way, to ward. Whether you're ranked or friction or role doesn't matter. Having that covered, this also includes, by the way, this can also be used from both sides, either red or blue, it doesn't matter which plan you're playing. So now that we have mid covered, we can go over jungle. Now the key potential thing what I do see in either high or low elo is that most junglers don't have objective control. Objective control basically stands for having jungle control, so we're technically talking, whether you're playing red or blue, it doesn't matter, about control here, 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 or there. And obviously taking in Baron, Herald, or Dragon. These are the places as a jungler you want to keep secured. So let's say we're playing as Trundle, you want to make sure that you have this side covered, Baron, or Herald, and Dragon. That's all you have to do as a jungler. Now we do have a limitation to wards, so you have 2 wards basically in that case. That's where top comes in. What you can ask your top to do, if you have a good communication in your team, whether that's Darius or whether that's Gangplank, you want to make sure that your top covers 2 areas for you, which is 1, place a ward here. As Darius, we're talking about Darius now. So let's say Darius wards here and places a contra ward wherever possible here. We can then see that Darius has covered your blue and blue. Then apart from that, we have Baron control. That's something you want to keep because Baron and Herald are literally essential for either parties, whether that's blue or red. Then top has that covered. Your jungler can then heavy engage into the enemy. So let's say we're playing as Trundle now. We can ward in Tribush. It helps your top laner. But there's not really any necessity. If you are playing top, so let's say we're playing as Darius. Darius pushes in. Gangplank pushes in. Gangplank then gets pushed in even more, back all the way to the tower. Darius pushes in. What happens is we have control over this side of the river. But if Fiddlesticks comes around like that, or comes around like this way, what happens is these two places are not covered with wards or vision, as you can see. So how are you going to fix that? What you want to do when Darius extends, and especially when we're playing Trundle. Trundle goes here. You grab a ward. Darius, Trundle wards Tribush, and Trundle wards here. I'm going to explain you why. What happens is, Trundle covers you from Tribush. He covers you from a top gank. Also mid, but mid is already covered. So this is fairly to understand how to key potentially ward. And this is really, if you want to get out of high or low elo, this is one of the most effective ways to ward. But obviously, not every single team member will work or cooperate with you. That's a fact. Now, let's say you're playing as a team and you are all people who work together, your premates, for example. This is one of the most effective ways to ward and to literally take secure on jungle, objective control, gank potential, coverage on multiple sections. What the good thing about this is, you know, I play support a lot, so I overlook the map all times possible. Now, this gives me an indication about my own jungle. We have an indication on the enemy's jungle. Apart from that, we have an indication on the jungle control here. We have control over Baron. We have control over Dragon. We have control over this side. We have control here. We have control here. As you can see, there is almost maybe 5 to 10% potential way of somebody being able to invade, to gank, to swap into lanes without having any information. I find this one of the most effective ways, especially when you're playing support, when you need your vision. One of the most key potential things you can have. Looking at the video, I was hoping this was going to be a short video. Apparently, we're already 17 minutes in. But it's just for me to give you guys a clear explanation how warding is so essential. How warding can save you from dying, from losing Baron, Herald, Dragon, Tower, gank potential, lane control, jungle control, objective control. If you are able to talk to your team, explain how you want to set this up, and this is not something you have to do, like, this is just one of the most effective ways to win games wherever possible. Now, let's say you are in a winning lane. I would only, if we're playing as Thresh and Tristana, the only thing I would do is potentially walk as Thresh into the jungle here, then there, and then here. That's like my most effective route because you cover mid, you cover this side on blue, and you cover Tribush. If you're able to integrate all this kind of information to your team regarding your rank or function or role, if you tell people like, hey, this is one of the most effective ways of warding, I can guarantee you this is going to get you either out of low elo, it's going to win you way more games than you probably do now. And this is one of the most effective ways I've been speaking with people and coaches to stop ganking, to have objective control, dragon control, lane control, invasions. Anything is basically stoppable if you apply these simple tricks. Now, I will be going more into in-depth in single roles regarding support, AD carry, mid, jungle, or top. This is just, as of right now, a quick but normal explanation how warding is such a key potential effective indicator in the game, because it not only gives you information, but it helps you from having people dying. It helps you, as I said before, from invaders. It helps you from gank potential. These are simple tricks, but sometimes hard to understand or know. That's why I'm hoping this video helps people get a better understanding of warding. So if you guys really find this video helpful, I know it's been a long video, but it covers quite some good information. I hope you guys liked this video. I hope it was very informative. if you really enjoyed watching this video, please make sure you drop a like, a vote, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching. Krill out.